Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining today's webcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Today we'll be discussing business intelligence for revenue management. Before we get started, just some quick introductions of your presenters here today. My name is Amanda Kwan. I'm a senior business intelligence and analytics consultant with Thorogood, based out of our Boston office, and I've worked with a number of customers, but I'd say primarily within the insurance and the consumer packaged goods or CPG space, and really working with them to build out strategies, roadmaps, and actual end-to-end implementation of BI&A solutions.
And I'm Charlie Kirby. I'm also a business intelligence and analytics consultant based out of Philadelphia. I've worked with Amanda on CPG projects. I've utilized tools in the end-to-end Microsoft stack with focuses on the Azure platform and Databricks within the context of a CPG company.
For today's agenda, I'll start with a quick intro to Thorogood, for those of you who aren't as familiar with us. And then I'll start actually with a quick review of some of the fundamentals of revenue management. So really ensuring that everyone here on the line comes with the same baseline foundation and context to the revenue management strategy. And then from there, we'll dive right into the actual application of creating business intelligence tools for a revenue management strategy, and then wrap up with some approaches that we've seen taken, some lessons we've learned when implementing these types of tools for our customers, and then finally, ways to help you with some acceleration strategies in implementing something for your own organization. As promised, quick overview of Thorogood. Who are we? We are a business intelligence and analytics specialty consulting firm. We are independent. We work with a wide variety of different technology vendors, et cetera. And we are specifically customer-oriented. So we really take into account and start with listening to our clients and our business users, bringing to the table what we understand the technical possibilities are based off of our experiences, and then come up with opportunities for helping our business users meet their end goals. We operate globally. We are headquartered out of the UK, out of our London office, with additional offices in New York, Philadelphia. We are opening our Boston office in the next few months. Singapore, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Bangalore, India. The strategies and the services that we do provide to our customers are wide-ranging and really around data, I would say. So not only actual implementations of BI&A systems, but strategies and roadmaps all the way through to the actual training of users on certain tools, all and through to actual maintenance and support of those tools themselves. As I mentioned earlier, because we're independent, we do work with a wide variety of technologies. You can imagine in our industry that these tools are ever-changing, so we need to ensure that our consultants are highly trained and are flexible in learning a lot of these tools as they come into the market. So what we've shown here on the slide is just a sampling of some of the technology vendors, really, that we work with, and for many of them partner with specifically. And we work with a wide variety of customers. I will say we tend to work in these particular verticals that you see here on the slide, so CPG, pharma, retail, and insurance, because they tend to be very data rich and thus see a lot of value in the creation of these business intelligence and analytics tools. But let's get going and talk about revenue management. So let's talk about exactly what that strategy is. What is revenue management? I've got a bit of light reading for you all here. Cross states that revenue management is to sell the right product to the right customer at the right time for the right price. And the emphasis in this quote is my own. Now, you may have heard that revenue management started with the airline industry. And you're right, yes, the official name, revenue management, the solidification of the structure of revenue management did, in fact, start with the airline industry. And it's found its way across many industries over time. But you could argue that some of the core fundamentals of revenue management have been around for many years. Revenue management is generally segmented into pillars or levers, depending on who you speak to. And some customers or some companies will use maybe 4 of those levers, sometimes 5. We've added 5 here. But in any case, you'll be looking at your price, whether it's brand or pack, your inventory of products or your mix, your marketing of that product, promotion management, and then where you're selling that product, through which distribution channels and how, and what are those terms. You can think of many different questions really within each of these pillars that you might want to have answered. And we'll actually discuss some of those questions in a bit more detail later on in today's webcast. But the core questions or decisions that come from each of these levers have been around forever. So if you take, for example, the small child who is selling lemonade from her parents' front lawn, right? She needs to decide if she's selling just one size of lemonade or if she's doing a small, medium, large type of deal. Maybe she's also interested in throwing cookies into the mix as well for the products that she'll be selling. She has to consider when to sell, whether it's cold or hot outside, sunny or cloudy. She has to figure out at what price she's going to sell at, and if she discounts that price based on the weather, for example, or if she has to discount the price because the girl down the street has started her own iced tea stand. So the fundamentals of revenue management, of demand management really, aren't necessarily new. So why has revenue management become so popular as of late? If we go back to that quote I had from Cross, but this time I've changed the emphasis and I've put it here on the second sentence. It reads, in its high-tech mode, revenue management is a disciplined process that enables companies to use massive amounts of customer data to dynamically forecast customer behavior at the micro-market level. Some more light reading for you. Telluri and Van Ryzen further discuss this technology enablement, saying that it now makes it possible to manage demand on a scale and complexity, and that emphasis is by the authors and not me, that would be unthinkable through manual means. If it's not automated, significant opportunities for incremental gain are simply lost. So while revenue management decisions aren't necessarily new, we're finding that the prevalence of revenue management as a core function in our customers has really been due to the emergence and enablement of modern technology. You think about the thousands of products that are sold on thousands of shelves across thousands of retail stores in hundreds of countries. Now, take that and imagine trying to make core data-driven revenue management decisions without things like databases or object-oriented programming. And then further, imagine the insights that you can derive through the automated data processing and through things like machine learning. So today's webcast focuses on the opportunities that technology has brought to the forefront within the context of revenue management. So how can you answer those questions against each of the levers of revenue management in today's modern technological world? Well, you need data first, and I really love this phrase that Cross so aptly puts, massive amounts of customer data. You'll have internal data such as your product cost, your master data hierarchies, and in some industries, you'll also have sell-in information as well. Once you have your data, you need it aligned in the right way, because if it's not aligned correctly, you can't trust any insights that are derived from it. And with that alignment, you can run analytics on your data, specification of KPIs, advanced algorithms for identifying outliers and opportunities. And then finally, you'll need to bubble up those insights in a way that's consumable to your end users, the ones who will ultimately be making that final call on those decisions to make within your business. So if I were to put it in another way, I'd say good business intelligence for revenue management uses the right data in the right model with the right calculations and viewed in the right way for your business. And mind you, this is my quote, so feel free to use it so long as I am credited appropriately. So to summarize, really, no matter what, your BI solution for revenue management needs to have at its foundation data set up in the right way. The more data, the better, but it needs to be modeled correctly, able to ingest new data over time in a timely manner, in a recurring manner, and have it be flexible enough to handle the ever-changing product and market landscape that your business plays in. From an operational perspective, when you're embarking on creating a BI solution for RevMan, you'll want to start small. Ensure you have a quick implementation, provide value to the business as quickly as you can. But you do also want to ensure that what you're building is scalable across multiple dimensions. Let's start with that foundational need for seamless data integration. The biggest challenge that we've seen our customers have with their massive amounts of customer data is how to make sense of all of it in a holistic fashion. So some of the considerations you have to have are the granularity of your different data sources, whether it's the category level, brands, promoted product group. Maybe you might even look at going down to the individual item or SKU level. How often do you receive the data? Is it every day, week, quad week, month, 6 months? What slices of time do you need to see? Rolling 12 weeks, moving annual total, fiscal year, and can you align that data to your time needs? How's the quality of the data, which is certainly something that we've seen our customers face. How do you check the quality of the data and make sure it's actually accurate? Are the measures defined consistently, accurately, and aligned to how your business would view those metrics? And finally, how is data restated, if at all? Do you have a restatement every month, a full historical restatement every quarter? And how does your potential BI system handle that restatement? The other huge challenge our customers have faced is how to align external data to internal systems. Now, this isn't necessarily relevant to companies with solely direct-to-consumer products specifically, but others obviously face this hurdle. Things like, can you accurately map your product and retailer data to internal hierarchies? Can you allocate to common levels of granularity? How do you handle the lag between sales and then sell-out data? And can your system handle a constantly changing landscape of your competitors, of products, channels, et cetera? I have a quick example here on the slide of how you can potentially combine multiple internal and external data sets, and if mapped correctly, can quickly provide insights to things like your trade promotion effectiveness or your profitability. Note that different business users may want to see their data at different levels of granularity. Marketing, for example, might be fine seeing data at an aggregated view, but a category manager might want to see individual product performance. So these differing business requirements will be important to keep in mind when you're building a flexible back-end data model and flexible front-end dashboards. So let's talk about how to operationally gain those quick insights. So you remember those revenue management levers we mentioned earlier. We found that it's best to start with one of those levers and take a phased approach from there. Now, your choice of lever may be dependent on business priority, data availability, and or business user availability. In any case, you'll always want to ensure that whichever lever you start with, you're keeping in mind the need for the system to scale. What I'll do now is I'll actually hand it over to Charlie to showcase ways in which you can answer questions across each of those levers and ways to visualize your data.
Thanks, Amanda. For this portion of the presentation, I'll be playing the role of a marketing analyst at a CPG company, specifically examining dish detergents. As you can see them on the Power BI web app, and we'll be using these visuals to show how you can answer questions that come across these levers. All of this data that we're using is created just for the purposes of this demonstration and has been really just simplified to tell better stories. So to start, we'll examine at a summary level. The purpose of this is to provide overall market context and then find out what the bigger picture is and how it will inform the rest of our approach. We can examine how the market context has changed over time, including how sales volume tracks against volume across all sectors, like revenue here. And as we see in this, we have percent change from year to year. You might also examine how competitors are tracking in this same way, examining their trends. If you examine our trends, though, you see that there's not a lot going on here until you start breaking up by product and seeing individual product growth, where we can see that other actually had a significant drop-off, which might be something that we'd be interested in taking a deeper dive into. You can also examine on a regional or channel performance level for your own company and for competitors. The point of this is to provide an overall context to begin to decide how you'll dive into the rest of this data. Our first more granular level is the brand price, where you can find out if consumers are being offered the right price for our brands. From this, you can ask what our current retail price index is and what our gap to target is. As shown in this visual, we can uncover if we've hit our most attractive retail price tiers. Here we see across 3 channels, our bubble size here is representing our volume. Certain price levels are succeeding more within certain channels, while also we see that in channel 1, this might be a case of cannibalization, which could be worth looking into more because of this potential problem. Our next level is pack price. Pack price examines the size of products across brands and retailers. The purpose of this view is to identify potential gaps in our offerings based on the success of the current mix. Here we asked ourselves if our pack lineup addresses the magic price points in each channel. Our visual shows us that brand 4 is seeing success across all retailers in its 45 milliliter pack. However, we also see that we may be able to seize this opportunity across all our brands as 45 milliliters is not touched upon in any retailer. Looking into this can help us discover if the current lineup is aligning to our strategic initiatives across brands and what our optimal lineup may look like. Next is our active mix. Active mix can help us ask how are we offering our products and to whom. And it helps with our white space analysis, which if you use a simple growth metric can help us decide our most promising products, where they're being sold, what pack size they're being sold in, but also helping us maximize our reach by looking at these white spaces and using retailers we already work with, sizes we already produce, and identifying where we might seek to grow next. Promotion is very important. If we're using promotions, we want to know how they're tracking. Are they having the designed effect? As we see in this, we have shelf volume by Matt and brand, and our display volume by Matt and brand. With our product mix shown here, our brands, we see that sales has taken a significant decline despite our display volume, so thus our promotion increasing. So it seems concerning. It seems that the promotion is not having the desired effect. But if we look across brands, our brands seem to have been doing pretty well in the promotional period. But if we look at our largest brand, our most important one, we see a significant drop-off. This is an important note, as this could be a potential that our promotional discount is not being made up by additional sales volume. So this is definitely worth additional looking into. To further contextualize this, we can also begin looking at the efficiency of promotions of competition, or for insights for the frequency of our discount or the depth of the discount that we're using to ensure the maximum lift during our promotional periods. Trade terms are also an important consideration. How are our current trade terms structured and spent? Some important definitions here. We have CPP, which stands for Consumer Price Promotion, and it helps us paint a current picture of our trade terms and see how they're structured across the retailers that we're using. Our efficient operations helps us decide if a customer can get a better price if enabling cost savings in a supply chain or a payment. Our BBT right here can help us understand if a customer can get a better percentage price if listing more products or giving them more space in the store. Other terms represent volume bonuses in terms that are lacking counterparts, and these comprise of our contractual terms, whereas our BBT CPP promotion is a temporary or longer price reduction to drive volume and promotional price or to be competitive on price. This can give us insights into the differences across channels and across our retailers. It also serves as a benchmark to begin improving our trade terms in each of these areas.
All right, so Charlie has just shown some ways in which you can implement something quickly using a front-end tool with some data that you might have for, say, a given category of products. In that case, it was dish detergent. But how do you then build something out from there? Well, you can scale in multiple directions. You can, say, add more markets or geographies. Maybe your first quick win was such a huge benefit to your organization for the US, for example, that you want to roll it out to the UK as soon as possible. You can add more products to your lever. Maybe you've realized now your snacks business has some availability coming up to talk to you about their data and provide some input into the process. Or you can just go ahead and move on to some of the next levers. Dish detergent is maybe the most robust category in your portfolio. It's got all of the data, the internal, external, everything's ready to go and move forward with some additional modeling. You can do multiple things at once as you move within this cube, obviously. But remember, and I cannot stress this enough, that every decision you make when you start small with that quick implementation should consider that your solution will get bigger, whether it's going to be within the same model or you have multiple front-end tools. You'll just want to ensure that you have a cohesive platform for your end users. And to that point, always focus on business value. Too often decisions are made based on what might technically be the most interesting or technically the most simple or complex, honestly, given the context or the scenario. But at the end of the day, every solution should be made with what will actually drive value to your business. And keeping the business involved throughout the build of your BI tool will ultimately help drive future user adoption. So where do you go from here? Well, we actually have a few products and services that can aid in accelerating your revenue management business intelligence solution, from an algorithmic model that we call AIM, our popular iterative dashboard development methodology, of reporting and analytics hub for seamless end user experience, and potentially the most relevant here, a managed service for actually creating that foundational layer of data engineering on your market data. So if you're curious to learn more about any of these products, do please feel free to visit our website. All right, so thank you again for attending today's webcast. I hope you found it useful. If you do happen to have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or Charlie directly via our email addresses or on LinkedIn here. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.